welcome back to another episode of the Big Asp Cornhole Podcast. Sean and Dana are with you again. What's going on, man?
Yeah, not much. We're on video.
It's kind of weird.
People could see us. They could reach out and
weird.
touch us, I guess.
All right, well, we're not going to break tradition just because we're on video now. All right,
yeah.
I'm still thirsty. So, Dane, tell the folks what we're sipping on at home in a segment we call What You Drinking.
What you drinking?
Ooh.
Well, we're bringing it back to Cleveland. Got a little Saucy Brewworks, Juicy ASAP
Some of our favorites.
IPA. It's so good. Saucy Brewworks is a great brewery. A little 6.5%.
Sure
this is a seasonal one for them. They come out with it only in the summertime. And, yes, like Sean said, one of our favorites for sure.
That's pretty good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Dane, who's this brought to us by?
Oop, bing! It's right there.
Oh,
Colorado Cornhole Connection. You need some sick boards. They have cool apparel. They have cool score towers.
Anything you need printed.
Exactly. They print stuff on wood, and they do it better than the rest. Hit up iHeartCornhole.com, code BIGASP10, get you 10% off.
Big Asp 10.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's another.
Oh, hey.
Bing.
Oh, all our sponsors are showing up.
Bing.
All
Look
right,
at all
well,
those
we'll get
guys.
to those in time.
They're
okay.
coming.
Well,
coming.
Cornhole family, once again, we're going to be providing you with audio gold, but obviously now there's also video with it. So make sure to check out this video if you're listening to the podcast.
Is it
if you
possible that we come out with video gold too?
I think so. If you want to see our beautiful faces and you're just listening to the podcast, go to harddragpush.com and go to the Big Asp page, and we are going to post the video there. It's also going to be on our YouTube page. If you can subscribe to Big Asp Cornhole on YouTube.
Heck yeah.
All right, so we have basically a killer episode.
Because it's you and me.
Well, obviously, yeah. So no guests today. All right, we are going old school, Sean and Dane. We figured it's the first video. Well, actually, I'll be honest. I kind of dropped the ball. I forgot to line up a guest. But you know what? It's going to work out perfectly. It's going to be a great episode.
Never had to admit it.
So we are going to recap all the cornhole action from the ACL this past weekend. There was the ACL Open event in San Diego, and then there was also the Pro Shootout in Asheville, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. We obviously have some bags to review. We have Killshot M.O.B. We have Game Changer Steady 2.0. We have Bagdaddy Triple Threat.
Oh, yeah.
And we have the new cornhole scenario, Kanga-X.
Kanga-X.
All right. And then we were going to have a little conversation chat about other stuff. But you know what? We posted on Facebook some listener questions.
They came
and you guys
out.
fired them at us. So you know what? The after the bag review, we're going to do as many of those listener questions as we can.
Start ripping through them.
Yeah, we'll just rip through them. We'll have some good time. And we hope you guys enjoy.
Absolutely.
So, but before we jump into all that, we bring you what's going on in our cornhole lives in a segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Well, that's brought to you by Airwolf Athletics. Right up there in that top corner.
Sure is.
Sexy swag. Sean and I are both wearing the sick hats. I got the mint. Sean's got the pink. If you want to look half as fly as us, you got to start from the top and work your way down. Hit up airwolfathletics.com, code BIGASP. We'll get you 10% off.
Dane, do you find yourself wanting new cornhole bags?
Every day.
Like just craving?
Every day.
You might as well get a set of cornhole bags with the sexiest logo and cornhole on it. That's right, Blackjack Cornhole. The home of the sexiest cornhole logo in the game. Possibly the world. All right. If you want the sexiest logo on your bags, check out blackjackcornhole.com. Use code BIGASP to save yourself 10%.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Dane, did you get to throw it all this week?
I threw just practicing.
Okay.
I had a little bit of time this weekend. I got to get out and just kind of toss around, and I got good practice in for a change. Most of the time when I practice, it's just kind of messing around, but I felt like I was on point. And obviously, reviewing bags.
Yeah.
Got tons coming up, so I had to catch up on some. So
really, that's all I've been doing is Wednesday and Thursday before work, maybe a little bit after work on Thursday. It just depends. I'll take the bags that we're going to be reviewing. I throw them. I've been doing some videos that is up on harddragpush.com under Bag Life. I recently posted a video on the Kanga-X, and what was the other one I posted?
Oh, God.
What was it?
I just watched it, too. Which one was
I'm
it?
sorry. It was the C3 Sasquatch,
Yes,
which we're going to be
Sasquatch.
reviewing upcoming soon. So go check those. Again, it's under the Bag Life page at harddragpush.com. But yeah, again,
I loved your Kanga-X one because every single time you were holding 3.
yeah,
You
dude.
never had a 4-bagger. Your first bag was always left or right, but
Sometimes
the rest
like
of
you
it was
can, I
pretty.
could edit that out, but then I'm like, why? Like, it doesn't feel real.
10s are still
I'm not
good.
a fucking pro.
10s are still
I
good.
will say, did you see the slow-mo wheel shot that I hit?
Dude.
That okay, so if you seriously go check out the video.
I haven't seen Sean hit a wheel shot against me yet, but I'm starting to get a little scared.
One
All
take.
right?
I swear to God, one take. When I hit it, I had to stop myself from yelling because I forgot. I knew I was recording. I was so fucking.
I can imagine you running around the office.
Now the next like 6 attempts missed terribly, but that one shot made it all worth it.
Hey, the one time now you see why everyone wants to keep throwing it.
Absolutely. But you made the point about practice by yourself, and sometimes it's just good practice.
Yeah.
When we went to the Open in Erie, I thought I played pretty well, and I think it's just because all I've been doing is working on just the basics.
Yeah.
Throwing a whole variety of bags, which I think is an underrated tool using when you practice. Instead of constantly using the same bag all the time, I think you can sharpen your skills if you use like an array of bags.
Oh, absolutely.
Fast, slow, thin, fat.
Because people also forget that you don't have to change boards to change conditions per se. You can change your bags to simulate different board conditions. And that's kind of how I use it.
I'm literally getting a text message right now from somebody.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him out. Alan Minton. I
Yeah.
know you're listening to this right now. No, I don't want to get rid of the Kanga-X bags. All right? They're not going anywhere.
We're reviewing them right now.
Yeah,
right?
we're trying to review them.
They're not
so
even
I'm not trying to
cold
get rid
yet.
of them.
My God,
but you're not
savages.
the first. You're not the first one to ask. But no, they're not for sale. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into we're going to start with the ACL Open event in San Diego. Okay. Let's start with doubles.
Have to.
Doubles was, at least in the finals, the whole event itself was pretty stacked. I mean, there were some really big names up there, but the finals was pretty top heavy. You had Trey Birchfield partnered up with Tony Smith, and he beat out Noah Wooten and Jimmy Humans.
Yeah.
It was a good match. Trey Birchfield and Tony Smith, they play really well together.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Tony Smith have a nice weekend. Yeah, overall.
I mean, hey, he looked very comfortable this weekend.
And right now, with how well Trey Birchfield is playing, I mean, you don't have to do a whole lot.
Yeah,
you know
just
what I mean?
hop in that saddle and let him take you wherever he wants to go.
Absolutely. Derek Holland, Josh Holland, they took third place. Caleb Batson and Tyler Cobb, I thought was a really interesting pair.
Oh, yeah.
We had mentioned last week that Tyler Cobb, the way he throws a hard bag, he manipulates it a lot, very similar to Caleb Batson. Mm-hmm. They were going to be a tough out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They make a really interesting pair. I'm not surprised in the least that they did very well.
Tyler Cobb?
I want to say he's 21.
Okay, he looks young. That's why I asked.
I'm guessing. I don't know
we
if he's 21
know how
yet.
old Caleb Batson is. If I didn't know that, I'd probably say he was 21 too.
Yeah, I think I want to say Cobb is 20, 21 maybe. He might be a little younger. I don't know, but okay. I thought he was right around 21.
I was just curious if you knew.
Derek Holland, Josh Holland, though, they took third. They're again, man, for not being pros, they come to these open events, man, and they're just wrecking shit.
You need to put quotes above that for not being pros.
Because they didn't want to.
Yes, and they are touted across the country as just straight filth.
West Coast got some representation in doubles. Andrew Labrador and Daniel Resurrection, I think, or Resurrection, however you want to say it.
Is he the Bang?
Yeah, Bang Bang.
Bang Bang?
Yep.
Yeah,
they took fifth. Resurrection also took fifth in singles as well, so he had a nice little run. I thought that
the well rested.
Well, listen, whenever you have an open event, like kind of like in your hometown, you want to represent a little bit.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure they were like ecstatic that they did really well. But we had mentioned them before during preview events before nationals that they're one of those teams that not many people know outside of California, but they're very sneaky good.
Oh yeah.
Very, very good.
Anytime you're throwing ultra, you can be sneaky good.
Yeah. I mean,
let's be honest, man.
They're not an easy out. All right,
yeah.
They play a very good game.
Hey, but also I wanted to mention the Cobbs weren't done.
No,
they also had another set in the top 10 with Tyson Tubby.
Dude, can I just say 7. I love their parents.
Dude.
I don't know their parents, but Tyler, Tyson, Tubby. I mean, my God, that is just alliteration at its finest.
It reminds me of like the Three Ninjas.
Yeah.
We're
aging ourselves.
Yes, if anyone remembers that movie,
underrated.
We owe you, dude. Yes,
underrated.
Tum Tum's my spirit animal. I have a lot of them.
And Rocky loves Emily.
Yeah.
Rocky loves Emily.
Rocky loves Emily. All right, moving on.
Isabella Supernaut and Hunter Thorne paired up. They took 7th, a very solid showing.
I feel like you don't know how to say her last name.
I don't know.
It's Suprenant.
Is it?
Yeah.
Whatever. Isabella. Everyone knows Bella. I could just say Bella and everyone's good. The girl with the blue hair
Bella.
that throws absolute fire. She is phenomenal.
Yes.
She's gonna do a lot of work. Now, I think she's gonna have obviously anything can happen.
Yeah.
If she qualifies to be a pro, I think she'll have a successful season. I think there's gonna be a learning curve involved, but I think she's gonna cause some big problems in the women's division.
Very much so. Yes. It might take her a couple nationals to get there.
But she plays a game very similar to like Cheyenne Renner, where she throws a harder bag. Now Cheyenne Renner actually changed a little bit. She's throwing I think Vipers this year.
Yeah.
She's throwing Ultra this year, but I put her skill level or in potential right next to Cheyenne Renner.
To me, like her and Sam Finley play the same style game. They both
very
throw
similar,
that BG, correct. Like low and hard. I think Sam likes to keep it a little cleaner than Bella. I think their release point is very, very similar in how hard they throw that bag. She's going to be a very, very fun one to watch come up through the women's. Yep. I mean, not just women's. She could very well.
Yeah, she's done very well in Texas.
She's quite good.
Now her partner Hunter Thorne. Again, this was kind of like a home event for him in California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's another talented guy that we hear a lot about. He's done solid on the in this pro circuit so far in the ACL, the national events, but he's kind of lacked that one big performance. Maybe this is a stepping stone in the right direction. Yeah, I mean he's going the right direction, and he's still so young, man. Like I think he's like 16 years old.
I think him and Bella are probably the same age, correct. Right?
But he's very, very talented player. So I thought that was a smart pairing. Again, sometimes if you just play with somebody you're comfortable with, you just have more fun, and looser you are, you don't think about it, and you just have a good run.
That's why you
and again, this field was so stacked. Now there was one team that to me was a little bit of a disappointment, only because it was California. You figured they'd want to rep their home state a little bit. Valdivia and Parent. They tied for 33rd. If you would have showed me all the pro teams that were entering this event, I would have guessed top 10 at the worst.
Yeah. I mean, with the way that they've been throwing this year.
You know what I mean? But, again, they're one of those teams that they performed well at the first 2 nationals, not as quite as well the third. What's more indicative of a full season? Is it those first 2? Or is it the most recent one? You know what I mean? So time's gonna tell.
Yeah, I mean it's a long season, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's definitely highs and lows. It's the ones that keep the consistency that end up, bringing home the trophies at the end of the year.
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna move on to singles.
Yes, sir.
In singles, Josh Holland beats Trey Birchfield in perhaps one of the most epic matches I've ever watched. Mm-hmm. I think it went like 47 rounds. These guys, I think, combined through like 38 rounds of 4-baggers. Like it's just ridiculous. They both averaged above a 10.8.
Did they cut the commercial halfway through that?
Dude, I know it's just 47 minutes straight of these guys just throwing for the hole. I know some people had popped up the question like, if you're facing somebody, and again, this was a listener question that they posted to us, but if you're facing somebody and they're just throwing hole for hole, why wouldn't you try to stop and do something? You can't necessarily go outside of your game plan. If your game plan and your style is hole hunting, you go hole hunting.
Exactly.
If you're Trey fucking Birchfield and you're the robot, you're not afraid of somebody.
Exactly. You're going to be like, all right, if you want to play this stroke game, see if you can keep up.
And listen, Josh Holland's no joke. I mean, the kick and stroke. Josh Holland doesn't play as a clean game as Trey, but he hits timely shots.
Yes,
he hits clutch air mails, and he was up. I want to say it was 20-9 at one point. Trey Birchfield came marching back, and if I was Josh Holland, I'm pooping my pants a little bit.
Yeah,
because when Birchfield gets hot, you don't think he's ever going to miss again.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of, I don't know if you noticed the trend, but I remember seeing a lot of big leads go to nothing in a quick time frame this weekend. Yep. And it wasn't just there. I mean, it was across like the shootout as well. There was guys that were up, 13, 14 points through, and then 3 rounds later, they're down by 1.
That's the kind of match I watch, and I sit back and I realize I'll never be a pro. Hell, half the people watching that, even if you are pros, I'll be a pro, but I'm never going to win. Because there's people out there that are just that fucking good.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I mean, it is unreal. And I know sometimes that style of match, although I can appreciate it because we're cornhole fans, and you can appreciate how hard what they did was. They can be a little bit boring when it goes 47 minutes, kind of back and forth. There was a little drama because there was a comeback by Trey, but when you go bag for bag, the entertainment factor sometimes lacks. But goddamn, like, these guys are just so fucking good. I mean, it was unreal.
Yeah, I don't think anyone, even the average casual fan, they had to be entertained by that match because, dude, it was impressive to see these guys doing what they did.
Now, Cornhole Scenario does not sponsor very many players, but I believe they sponsor Josh Holland. I don't know if it's official right now, but he throws Cornhole Scenario. Yes. I think he throws Cat 3s.
And he throws them really, really well.
Apparently so. I mean, he does really. They work. They work apparently. All right, so obviously the final was an epic match. If you haven't watched it...
Did you mention that they averaged over a 10.8?
Yeah. I mean, I think Josh Holland was like 11.12. Yeah. Trey Birchfield was like a 10.88, something like that. I mean, that is just absolutely ridiculous.
And they matched in 4-baggers.
Yeah. If I average that for like 2 rounds, I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
I'm like, honestly, if I go through and I play a game where I hit, what do they have, 38 4-baggers?
Something ridiculous like that.
I think I would retire from cornhole forever.
Yeah. Yeah, correct.
It's all right. We got some time, folks. I'm not retiring anytime soon.
Now, we're jumping around a little bit, but like Trey Birchfield, right? Obviously, right now, I know he lost, but arguably is the best cornhole player in the game right now in non-round limited games.
Yes, I mean honestly, he gave Josh his props on Facebook. I don't know if you saw his post, and the kid was 1 or 2 bags away from coming back and winning 3
open
in a row.
0. Yeah.
I mean,
and now in round limited, he has not qualified yet for the pro shootout in singles. And round limited is a completely different ballgame.
It really is. I mean,
because you notice in this match he fell behind.
Yeah, and
if you
can keep your composure
correct.
more.
So if he just had one game in that single elimination stuff where he doesn't start hot, I mean that's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. Okay, so let's move on to the match that I really enjoyed watching was in the semifinal. It was actually in the bracket finals. It was when Wooten took on Birchfield. He lost a tough match. It was back and forth. It was actually a close match. I think it ended up being like 21-16 or 21-18, something like that.
Yeah.
There was an absolutely ridiculous push shot in that match that we're going to actually show you here. But if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you check out the video because we're going to show it here. It 4 hours, 29 minutes, and 8 seconds. Wooten is down 14-16, and he hits an absolutely ridiculous push shot.
Here, we're going to jump over right now.
Just watch this.
Just watch this nasty shot.
Jump. Okay, can we play that one more time?
Yeah, we're
gonna play this. Let's pause it just for a second. All right, so
we'll just
so go and pause it right here. All right, so scenario is Birchfield's up 16-14. You have Wooten, who has a bag to the right, bag to the left, and Trey Birchfield the last time hit a big push shot and left. It was a 2-bag push, and it was a replacement. So you have Wooten basically with it was basically a Birchfield sandwich, right?
Yeah.
So you have Wooten as the bun, Birchfield as the meat, and he can't give up 4 points.
Was
right?
that meat a hot dog?
Yeah, no. Birchfield is up 16-14. Wooten's thinking, I got to make something happen. I don't want to give up 4 points and put him at 20. What can I do here? I can't push my bag in. I don't want to roll a shot because then that's going to leave an easy push bag for Trey to finish up with 12.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's see what goes through his mind as one of the best pros. Because to me, I think I want to just carry 2 of my bags in on this and make him hit the last one to just give up 2. Is that what you would think?
Honestly, what I was thinking is that I thought I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know.
I think he could throw that cut bag and maybe grab his and just push the whole lot and get 3.
If I'm really thinking, if I'm in his shoes and I don't have that skill, I'm thinking right now that okay, I can give up 4 because you're not going to be at 21 yet.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking I'm just going to push through that bag. If I happen to catch the one that's on Birchfield's side and they both go in, great. But if I miss that push shot and I push Trey's in, you know he's going to end the game with like an airmail or a cut shot or something.
What about a roll bag here?
I don't. Again, there's a lower percentage because if you miss that roll bag and you leave that lane open,
yes,
you're gonna give up 6 points.
But so like I'm looking at it as Trey Birchfield's arm with the board. that bag is sitting on Noah's side.
Yes.
You roll and even get that bag to lay on top. Even if he tries to go through it, I feel like something gets messed up.
Obviously, this is the best shot he could have hit here. But if there was a second best scenario...
But I'm just thinking, this is not a shot anyone would ever think of.
No. What I'm saying is...
throw.
So what I was thinking perhaps he was going to try to do is try to actually flop his bag on top of it.
That's what I was thinking.
Because then if you go for a push shot, if you have bags oftentimes that are stacked on top and you try to push through, what's going to happen is they're going to wedge together. They're not all going to drop in. So sometimes they're going to bunch up. But let's play this back one more time. And again, we would never think this, but watch how hard and low Wooten throws his bag, and just watch Trey's bag just glide right over the hole.
I apologize, I don't have it in slow-mo. I should have updated it.
God damn.
I mean...
So if you're listening to this, let me describe what he had.
Bag over the hole.
So he pushed it so hard.
My gosh.
He pushed that bag so hard that Birchfield's bag actually skipped over the hole, and Wooten's went in.
Newton.
I mean, we're talking about that's the difference of giving up 4-2 then. Because then Birchfield's like, all right, I'm not going to try to drag it. I'm just going to put it in. I'll take my 2, and that was it. I mean, it was... I watched that, and I'm like, that to me, I know Wooten lost the match, but that is the kind of skill that kid has. I mean, is he the craftiest cornhole player?
He's definitely up there for sure.
I can see why guys call him the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's hitting shots out there that...
Again, no one would even think about that. Now, I would love to actually have him sitting here right now and be like, is that what you were trying to do, or was that a happy accident?
Yeah, I would love to ask him, because, we actually saw Kyle Malone hit that same shot earlier this year.
Yes,
I don't know if you remember that.
It's actually on our YouTube page.
Yeah, it is on our YouTube page, and but when Noah threw that, I mean, the difference was Malone's was in, like...
For a win.
It was for a win, and also in, like, was that like a local tournament?
No, it was an open, but it was Crew Cup.
Okay, for Crew Cup. Yeah, and then, I mean, this was like the biggest stage going for, if you're going to make the championship.
But Noah Wooten, I mean, if you happen to listen to this, hats off. That shot was ridiculous. I thought that was the shot of the tournament. The whole weekend that I saw was that shot. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, this sip of beer is for you, my friend.
Okay, moving on. Tyler Cobb. This kid's heating up at the right time. He took third in his bracket. He's hot right now. We've been talking him up all year. I think he's a year away from really making like a big splash.
Yeah.
But man, he's partnering up with people all across the country.
A year might be too long, man. I feel like he's gearing up for these.
Listen, he got the big win with Hardball. Sometimes you get on that broadcast for the first, and he fucking played amazing on the broadcast.
Yeah.
For the first time on a broadcast, this kid absolutely killed it.
I mean, some guys just get it, and that like they just dominate once they reach that broadcast, and other people, you kind of see the nerves come up. But I feel like even if you shit the bed with nerves, it makes you so hungry to come back that usually you see them back sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Whenever the Cobb kids are eating, like I want to find out what his parents did when they were little, because I have a son. I'm just gonna do whatever they do.
Do you think they eat everything on the cob though?
I guess probably.
Like chicken on the cob.
This is what I have to deal with all the time. And now that we're on video, I have to try to I can't just what the fuck are you saying? But I'm going to do it anyways because that's what I would normally do. No, we don't do that. Tony Smith, he also took third in his bracket. I like seeing him heat up.
Dude, nice.
I've been critical of Tony Smith, but he's starting to play up to his potential. I just want to see it on the national stage now.
Now, here's a question for you. Yes. National stage, the boards have been much faster.
These boards were slow.
They were very slow. So do you think that has something to do with his game style and how he's being more successful on the slower boards than faster? I think tenfold, it's a given.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, the tacky boards play right into his game style. Same with Wooten. He likes to play that. I mean, we saw it. He likes to play those where only he can hit those types of shots.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think board condition have a little bit, but I think the kid's just too talented. You can't tell me that he can't just go back for back with somebody if he really wanted to.
Well, I mean, and he's also young, and he was out of the Northeast where maybe he wasn't getting challenged as much as you would have thought.
An excellent point. I really do. I do.
Moving on. I mean, I think against the Northeast is coming up.
No, I think the Northeast. If you made, I think they are the up and coming division. I think there's a lot of talent coming out there, but I think it's very safe to say I think that Northeast is very spread out.
Yeah, I think it might have surprised them this year, just the level of talent across the board at that pro level. Even though, next year it's going to be even better.
No, I completely agree, and I think that's an excellent point. I really do. I think that now that he has a year under his belt. of playing that top level competition and traveling the country with one of the best players in the game.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of the West Coast guys
I've been critical on Tony Smith, but I think the same thing of Noah Wooten. Noah Wooten's got to show up. He's supposed to be one of the best players. I think you can put Noah Wooten in that category. Ryan Windsor, I know, has been battling injuries, but he hasn't quite lived up to Ryan Windsor. But again, it shows the depth of the ACL and just how impressive it is. I mean, it's ridiculous.
To me, I mean, Ryan Windsor, I think, showed us enough last year too. Like him and Isidro, that they're a top 10 quality team for sure.
I think the nice thing about like when guys like Tony Smith, Noah Wooten, the guys that like to manipulate the bags, make them do a whole bunch of cool stuff with the bag while they're playing.
Yeah.
I think their game translates to like more of an interesting style. It's more fun to watch. So the game is better when those guys are like at the end, like in the championship, because you get to watch all those types of shots.
Well, I mean, I agree with you to a point, but then once you get to the championships, you got to think of it from the novice standpoint to the avid fan standpoint.
Yeah.
What would you rather see? I mean, I was so impressed with that Birchfield and Holland match that I don't think it lost any value TV-wise, being 47 minutes long. I think it just shows the longevity and the mental fortitude that this game takes. Again, I think an average fan can see that too.
I do, but again, we have disagreed with Trey before, and I still believe that just putting bag in bag, guys will watch them and be like, I can do that.
And
but you watch guys
try it and they can't.
You watch guys flop and roll and cut and airmail drag and all that stuff. Though that's TV value. Like that's what people want to see, the exciting stuff, and that's the type of gameplay that Tony Smith brings to the table.
To me, those are the moments of the bottom of the ninth, 2-out home run walk off moment.
Yeah. Correct.
Like, but when you're going bag for bag, it's typically you lose by leaving your first bag off to the left.
It's
very anticlimactic.
All right, if we're gonna go baseball, I look at like Tony Smith, like that style. I look at it as like this really high scoring. It comes to the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, grand slam ending.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a bag for bag situation. I look at that as like a pitcher's duel. You know what I mean? Like where it's like 0-0 into the ninth, both pitchers are going for complete games.
But you're talking
like a fucking
dude. But those are my favorite baseball games.
Yeah, only because
watch.
they last hopefully they only last 2 hours. You can get the fuck out of there and go watch a real sport.
No.
I love baseball.
You are so wrong. And I just want to point out real quick that Colorado Cornhole Connection logo matches this jersey.
It does
beautifully.
It really does.
It does.
It really does.
Look at us.
And this wasn't even planned. Like
it was not.
I did not know this was gonna be over.
I pulled it off their Facebook like an hour ago. Yeah,
this way,
you gotta this way. There it is. Yeah.
It's backwards, so it fucks with us. Okay, moving on. 2 names to remember. Dylan Turpin. He played well at the Armed Forces Championship. We talked with Anthony Ione about him.
Yeah.
He placed 9th in both singles and doubles this weekend, but his pro partner, Ricky Gonzalez, placed 2nd in his bracket. They're getting hot at the right time. They're one of those teams when you're making your bracket selections, and they're probably going to be middle of the tier. They're going to probably face off another team that is right around there. They're I don't know exactly where they're ranked, but they're somebody right now, just based on how well they're playing recently, I'd probably give them the edge.
Oh yeah.
So like a team that gets hot at the right time, they build some confidence. Maybe you have them make a little bit of run. They could be one of those surprise teams, so it wouldn't surprise me at all.
It's always whoever's hot at the right time. I mean, you watch it every time playoffs come around for any major sport. I mean, this is no different.
You had Tyler Lopez and Peter Zazueta.
Which, I mean, we saw him earlier this year.
Yeah, they didn't perform up to their expectations in doubles. I think they tied for like 17th or something. But you had Lopez, he took 5th in his bracket, and then Zazueta. I don't know why I struggle with that. He took 9th. In singles, they both played well. There's nothing worse than like when you play doubles with somebody and you were both playing really well in singles. Like, why the fuck couldn't we just put it together?
Yeah, dude. Sometimes it's all a rhythm thing, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think I'm always a better singles player than doubles.
Yeah. Those are 2 guys that they're very talented. Again, if they put it together, and they've had a very solid season.
Oh yeah.
Through the first 3 nationals, so maybe you just call the double. And again, 17th is not terrible. You know what I mean? No. And with his stacked field. But I would have just expected them to be a little bit higher.
When you're going into an open, I feel like any pro wants to be top 5.
Yep.
Valdivia.
He took fifth in singles. We had mentioned him and Perrin had a disappointing run in doubles. They tied for 33rd.
He turned it around.
He takes fifth in singles. Again, we talked with Trey earlier this season, and he was one of those names that we talked about. Where do we see him ranked? Because at the time, he was ranked, I want to say ninth.
Yeah.
Because he had taken ninth, or he was like
it was
him,
two top 10
Eric,
finishes,
and Ryan
right?
Smith were all taking out. So he was one of those guys. Where do we think he's going to finish at the end of the season? Trey was like, I probably see him at like 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think that's probably right where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like, which one is he? Is he like the top 25 player, or is he a top 10 player?
But to me, like,
there's a big difference there.
Anyone in that ambiguous state between those two, they have the potential to turn it on and be a top 10. They have the potential to lose one early and
here's the
finish
difference.
outside the top 25.
There are some people that have the potential, and then there's people that fucking do it.
Yes.
So is he going to be one of those guys that does it, or is he going to be one of those guys that like, he always has the potential?
Until he
Nobody
does
wants
it,
to be that guy.
Until somebody does it, it's always potential.
Nobody wants to be the guy that like, he has so much potential. Well, fucking great. It's just like when like you bring a girl home and your mom's like, she has a nice personality. Yeah. It's like the nice way of calling her ugly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, thanks.
That's the last thing I wanted to hear.
You know what I mean? So I'm a big fan of his game. He has one of my favorite throws in the game. I think he has a great release. I love watching him play. I hope he does well at the next national. So we'll leave it at that.
One of my favorite throws is a gentleman that we're about to talk about here coming up. And it's Mr. Mike Harvey. I love watching him play.
Okay, well let's move. Okay, so we're gonna move out to the.
Just had to throw
all
it
right,
out
so
there.
we're done with the ACL Open event in San Diego. We're now gonna move on to the Pro Shootout, which was in Asheville. Singles.
Yes.
Damon Dennis just does it again. The dude just doesn't seem to miss. Just super steady. He will lull you to sleep, taking 5 minutes in between each bag. He wins over Mike Harvey. I loved seeing Mike Harvey make it to the finals. It was a little bit of a validation, just because I've been mentioning the guy's name all season.
Yeah, and he's like, it's not like he's performed badly.
No, well, because he came out firing in the first one in doubles with James Washington. They made a deep run. He was, I want to say, first or second or top 3 in PPR in doubles. He was playing outstanding. And then the second or third national, they missed their flight or they had some travel stuff. Whatever the weather was bad.
Yeah.
So they missed doubles. Singles, he didn't have that great of a showing. This is more, I'm telling you, I've watched a lot of matches that he's played in. This is more indicative of where I would expect him to be near the top. I really think that this guy has the potential to be a perennial like top 15 player every single year.
I totally agree. And honestly, what I love about him most is he's a hype monster.
Dude, he's a hype monster, and every time he throws it, I can't tell if it's a good bag or a bad bag. Because he's constantly, like, waving it this way or waving it that way, you know what I mean, dancing around. But he's fun to watch.
He's great for TV,
you can tell
it's
he's
awesome.
having fun playing the game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's refreshing to see.
It really is, yeah. And, I mean, like, no offense to Damon Dennis, but, like, the guy, he's basically a tree standing next to him.
Yeah.
On the other side when you have Mike moving all over the pitch pad.
Yeah.
But Damon just does what he does, man. I mean, like,
hard to beat, man.
He really
in round
is.
limited, it's hard to beat because he just doesn't make those big mistakes.
Exactly.
If you're going to beat Damon Dennis, you got to be on your game, and you got to be willing to just go take your 2.
You got to get on him early. If you can get a 6-0 lead on Damon Dennis and then force him to hit the shots, that's how you got to beat him.
But hats off to both those guys. I mean, Damon Dennis, obviously, right now, I would still put maybe Trey Birchfield a little bit ahead of him, just because of his recent success at the Open events as like a singles player. But Mike Harvey, well done. I was happy for you, man.
Heck yeah.
The other Jordan Kamba and Cody Henderson rounded out the top 4. Again, is Kamba? How do I want to word this? Is he the most? Yeah, is he the most underrated player right now?
I think
that like not many people. I'll be completely honest. When I made our MVP debates, I forgot to write his name down.
Yeah,
and I thought about him, and I just forgot to write his name down.
Him and Baldwin were on my list for doubles. I mean, we just never mentioned him.
But he's having a sneaky good season.
And he's having but Kamba's doing that much better in singles. Than
when Trey Birchfield went on his run, and he lost to Damon Dennis in the finals, but when he was going absolutely crazy, like averaging almost like an 11, like all the way through the tournament. That's the only person that Campbell lost to.
Yeah.
And he lost to him in an epic match, like was like right there with him. And he averaged like a 10.7 or something. I mean, it was almost as good of a match as it was with Holland and Birchfield. I mean, it was an epic match in the bracket finals. Birchfield outlasted him. But Kamba is one of those guys that I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if he makes a run at these last 2 nationals, and he's been there before, he could come out of nowhere and win MVP.
In. With one dub under his belt, I could see him swooping in and taking it. Absolutely.
Same thing with Cody Henderson. Cody Henderson's another one. He just
needs a dub.
It's just consistency, man. He's
been there every time.
He's just there. He's there. Okay, in doubles, Guy and Graham beat out Hissner and Henderson, which is quickly becoming kind of like the rivalry, right? In cornhole doubles.
It's great for cornhole.
Love it. Love it. Now they actually behaved themselves. There wasn't too much chirping on this one, but I just love. You can always tell there's a little bit of tension when those teams play each other. I think it's because there's a mutual respect between them.
Now, is that because Guy basically had to travel with Hissner the whole way there?
Yeah, I just see that. Now I can tell you, Bernasette and Gustafson can't be thrilled that Guy and Graham won.
Yes.
Again, Bernasette and Gustafson, they won the pro shootout, the first pro shootout in Erie, and the only team that they have lost to yet this year is Guy and Graham.
Yep.
So they can't be thrilled that they qualified at all.
Because now they're going to have to face them for the big money.
Yep. Baldwin Kamba, Ryan Smith, and Sarah Cassidy, they all tied for third.
Dude, Ryan Smith's just showing up with whoever and producing right now.
Again, he's another one that he doesn't... I don't think he gets enough love for how consistent he is.
Yeah, I mean... And
he doesn't play a flashy game. You know what I mean? He just goes, puts bags in the hole, hits timely shots.
I think a lot of people still tout him as this great singles player. And they're not used to seeing him be this dominant doubles player yet, but it's
Which is funny because his ESPN broadcast experience was when he was partners with James Washington.
Yeah.
So... I don't know, but Sarah Cassidy, man, she's coming out strong. She is another very consistent player. She is perhaps one of the best doubles players for women right now.
People need to remember that Sarah Cassidy, out of the pro doubles circuit, she might have the least amount of bags thrown.
Yeah.
Out of everyone, because when she was on her show, she'd only been throwing for about 8 months.
Yep. Before
she sat there and won, what was it, the world championship for women's?
Yeah.
So the more she throws, the better she's getting.
It's just crazy because she came out of nowhere last year at the championship of bags.
Yeah,
came out of nowhere, wins singles and doubles, like just sweeps the whole women's competition. Yeah. And the more impressive thing is that she's carried it over this year with added pressure.
Exactly.
So now that she has a target on her back coming into the season, she hasn't let it bother her at all.
I think what helps her out is Airwolf Athletics.
Absolutely, she's a member of the pack. Airwolf Athletics. Mm-hmm. Eric Davis, Brett Guy, Dave Sutton,
Clemmer Jones,
Sutton and Morse, Clemmer and Jones, Brown and Gundel, they all tied for fifth. Mm-hmm. Sutton and Morse, they're one of those teams again. I'd written about Sutton in singles, just that I liked his game style, and I really liked his draw at the one bracket.
Yeah.
And he did. He basically followed right along with what I was saying. Sutton and Morse, though, they as a duo, they just haven't had that good draw yet. And I'm interested to see where they fall at the next national, because they're one of those teams that can make a very deep run. And again, it wouldn't be super surprising. They're very, very solid players across the board.
Well, I got to watch a match of Clemmer and Jones too, and those two, man, when they get going, they're a tough beat.
They're another one. They're just like
they throw back so freaking hard.
Yeah, correct. Duncan Clemmer is he's one of those guys that he was kind of like the Berkeley pair. You know what I mean? Coming into this season, where he was widely recognized as one of the best non-pro players. I think again he's maybe a year away, just getting this full year of top level competition in every event he goes to. I mean, it's only a matter of time. He reminds me a lot of Devin Harbaugh in his game, where again it's going to happen eventually. It might just take a little bit of time.
Well, I saw an epic match between them and Eric Ryder and. Who's his partner?
I knew you were going to do this to me.
I know. I can't remember it.
Keep going. Just keep
I'm so sorry. But anyways, they were facing off, and it was just an epic match. I don't know how many people caught it, but they went back and forth, and Clemmer and Jones went down at the end, and they climbed all the way back up with a big, big freaking round from Clemmer hitting 3 airmails in a row to just decimate him. I think it was an 8-point round that put him tied at 19.
Yep.
I mean, it was a crazy, crazy match, and it was a lot of fun to watch them go, because as soon as he hit those 3 airmails, it's like a whole new Brandon Jones showed up to the party, and he didn't miss after that.
Now they are through 3 pro shootouts. The thing about pro shootouts is once you qualify, you can't participate in again. So it's, I mean, I don't want to say like the field's going to get like easier as the season goes on, but
No, because we don't have every name at every pro shootout.
no,
either,
you don't.
So
And I like the shootouts because you don't have to play with your pro partner. You can pair it up.
you can pair it with whoever
go with
you
anyone.
want.
But there's 5 more left for the season. That's going to be a fun event. I think the round limited games add some suspense when the games are close, but when they're blowouts, they suck. But it does add something, and I get it for the television time and stuff like that. But I do wish sometimes it wasn't. There wouldn't be as many upsets, I guess, though.
So is it? It's the same format throughout. So once they hit the finals and stuff, it's going to still be 12 round, right?
Yeah, 12 round single elimination.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to the bag review. Your favorite time. Okay.
Time.
Your bag review. Your bag review is brought to you by Bagsboard, the maker of the original Cornhole bag backpack. Now offering you a build your own feature that has over 10,000 combinations to choose from. Need patches to go on that sweet ass bag? Bagsboard has some of the best around. Visit bagsboard.com to grab yours today.
Grab them.
All right. Let's start off with what do you want to start? I don't care. Steady?
Yeah, we can do steady.
All right, let's go with the Steady 2.0. Now, so obviously the Game Changer came out, right? And it was crazy popular, and then they came out with the Game Changer Steady.
Yes.
I think the Game Changer Steady was perhaps one of the most hyped bags before anyone had their hands on it.
Hands down. Everyone saw what a Game Changer was doing. They're like, "Oh, this is a slower version that's going to be melty."
And then you have a bust. Okay, it was bit of a
so for all of those at home who was like, "Oh, I still love my Steadies," like. We understand, like, it can break down after throwing it for an entire year, like, in the dirt, into becoming a decent bag. That's not the way bags work nowadays. I'm sorry.
No, it was a template issue, I think.
I agree.
It was very rounded. It was too small. It was a very thick bag.
And I'm a thick bag thrower, and that bag was too chunky for me.
With that type of slide right material, it tends to be a little thicker anyways. Mm-hmm. So, it wasn't... Listen, across the board, the Steady 1.0, if you want to call it, it was a little bit of a flop. And then you followed it up with the Game Changer Smooth, which was an even bigger flop. And then they promote, like, we're coming out...
Does anyone have Smooths anymore?
I have,
besides me?
I set my trunk. I can't get rid of the shit. That's going to be our next giveaway.
Smooths.
And then you come out with the Game Changer Steady 2.0. I think people were cautiously optimistic about this bag, but they didn't know quite a bit. I know when we went to Dave & Buster's the one night to play, Timmy Jonas had a set of these bags, and we threw them. And instantly, we could tell that there was a big difference, okay?
Can I just say the one thing that all Cornhole wants to say when it comes to Steady 2.0?
Yeah.
Vindication.
Yeah.
All right? That's a fucking good bag.
So they went back to what they knew worked, and that was a Game Changer template. All right, so it's a very squared bag. Obviously, same patch formation, slide right.
Is the patch slightly bigger on it?
Same bag.
Okay.
So again, literally, it is the same bag as the Steady. All they did was change the template. The fill feels the same, but they made it just a bigger bag overall.
They didn't
with the
round
bigger bag, you know what I mean? Like the corners aren't quite as rounded. A little bit more fabrics can make the bag heavier. You can't put quite as much fill in it. I have not treated these bags at all. They are pretty loose and
folks,
floppy.
It's slide right material. Yeah. I know that shit breaks down.
It takes a little bit of time, but overall, the thing I love about slide right material is the more you throw it, the better it gets.
Yes,
in my opinion, at least.
I agree. I agree.
Right out of the box, it tends to be a little bit stiff, and it's almost a little bit of a turnoff because you're like, oh, it just seems like it's going to be too stiff. It's going to
be the Steady 1.0 all over again.
Yeah, and you think that's going to clog, but then as it breaks down, you're like, okay, no, this is more, I see what they're going for. And this is right up the alley for those hard bag throwers that still wanted hold forgiveness. Yeah. Now, it is not as hold forgiving as a Game Changer, right? Because the slick material of Game Changer is what makes it the Game Changer.
I was gonna say, is anything?
But for people that want a similar style of play, but they want something a little bit slower, so maybe a typical guy, all slide players, maybe they want to throw something a little bit different. This is gonna be right up the alley. Yeah. I was very impressed with this bag. Again, it's Game Changer original, OG Game Changer. It was
refreshing.
It was
like honestly to throw.
This will not be my only set of studies. I actually like throwing these. I've come around on throwing Game Changer. The reason I was never a fan in the beginning was it was a tactile issue. I couldn't get used to holding the suede in my hand
Yeah, I
and
agree.
feeling a little bit of everything else. But I throw these very well. They are very hole forgiving once they get broken in.
We were those guys that loved throwing our original game changers
Correct.
until they broke down.
Correct.
And then we're like, what the hell is this?
Correct. There's really not much more to say, though. So speed-wise, on the slick side, we know slide right material tends to play like a 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
On the slow side, because of the suede, I'm going to put it at like a 3.
Yeah, I agree, because, I mean, the suede does catch
It does catch.
on this bag.
And again, it's not... So, because like a game changer slow side, I would put it like a 6 or a 7.
But the difference is, since it's a patch and not all suede,
Correct.
when you get it near the hole, it will shift. The beads will shift,
Yeah.
and it will actually fall in the hole.
It is.
As opposed to an all suede bag that kind of grips that side and will just hold on to it. Like,
Correct.
these will actually melt in.
Correct. You can cut these bags.
Yes, you can.
Both ways. That's the nice thing about with suede. So if you're an all-side player and you're looking for something like I can't quite manipulate the bag as much as I want on faster boards, this is going to be a pretty good alternative for you.
I think like if you're a carpet thrower that needs like to throw something with a patch, it's very comparable to me.
Yeah. No, I like it a lot.
It's a very reactive bag. It finds the hole well. I'm a fan. So Sean, what's your design score?
I don't know. I mean, I like the color scheme that I got. We have the purple, pink color scheme.
I like it too.
I like the color scheme. I just feel like they could do more. Like you're all cornhole. You're coming out with
it's
this.
like a shitty adult coloring book.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it like a 60 on the design score.
Yeah,
I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's okay.
I was right in there. I was going 55.
Yeah, it's okay. Now performance score. I'm gonna give it like a 78. I like it. If somebody came up to me like, hey, I want to throw this in a blind draw, not gonna be mad about it at all.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Is it gonna be my first bag choice? No, if I don't have to throw something with the patch on it, I'm not going to. Just again, it's just a mental block in my head when I try to throw it. But for the most part, like you said before, they're a little vindicated with this bag.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, this is the bag that they wanted to make with Steady.
Yes.
The original time. If they would have made this the original time, I bet the Smooth would be popular too.
Yeah, they just needed to get a couple more people's hands.
Because the Smooth is one of those bags that it's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be.
It's not.
It's fast. Don't get me wrong. It is very fast bag. But people, it's like one or two people came out early and were like, "Oh, this bag's crap," and then all of a sudden it was like the cool thing to say, like, "Oh, like you throw a Smooth, it's terrible."
Yeah.
It's not that bad of a bag. I mean, the Steady, the original
Best looking
Steady
bag they've come out with.
Yeah, the original Steady was terrible compared to the Smooth, in my opinion.
It might be a throw pillow. I don't know.
Might be.
That might be what they were going for.
Might be.
But my performance score,
Yes.
slightly higher than yours. I'm going to go with an 80 just because it's a game changer that you can throw aggressively. And
Cool.
I like it.
All right, let's go with Bagdaddy triple threat.
Okay.
You want to take this one?
Yeah,
I know
I
you
can
throw.
take it.
We've all thrown these for a good amount of time.
Considerable
But
amount of time.
I've had the Steadies or the Steady 2.0s for a while longer, so I figured I'll let you take this one. Now,
Oh, thanks. All right, so
what kind of bag is this?
this is a carpet bag.
Okay.
Carpet bag. Another one from Bagdaddy. You know, we were huge fans of the crossover.
Yep.
This is their new one, the triple threat.
And the 3.0 and the 5.0.
Yes, I mean they come out with just money every time. So this carpet I think it's Viking.
It is.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So it's
So
the same
think
thing
of-
you're finding on BG.
BG, WTF.
Yeah.
All right, same
Viking,
right along that same line.
Mercenary, Tango, all that stuff. But it has this unique fast side to it. We reviewed the R Fast last week from My Bags. It's kind of similar-ish, not the same material.
It's thicker.
It's thicker, yes. So it's not as like floppy right out of the gate as that R Fast, but speed-wise, I think it's somewhat comparable. Maybe not quite as fast, but
we have not seen this
tactile
material on
feel.
anything,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
I
this
could
is a
not.
unique
I was
material.
racking my brain trying to think over and over. And again, we've thrown 200, 300
Yeah.
plus different types of bags. I was trying to go over and over, and I was like, "Oh, the pattern, like it seems familiar." I cannot think of anything out there
Yeah.
that has the same material.
So when you're
on
looking
it.
at the fast side, it's got this like it's got just one diagonal like striation to it
Yeah.
all the way through it. So I mean, I don't know if you can see it on the
At first, I was
on
thinking,
the
is
screen,
it?
but it's like it just comes across all the way. There's no cross stitch to it. It's just one direction.
At first, I was thinking, is it something like the Game Changer Smooth a little bit?
It could be actually, but
I wish I would have brought the
Game
smooth up
Changer
here.
Smooth though still had like a stitch to it.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's similar though.
It is. Yes.
It's fast.
Yeah, it is fast. Like I'm gonna put this obviously this carpet is 3.5.
Yeah.
The fast side I'm putting it at a 9, 10.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean it goes.
Yeah,
for sure.
I give it like a 9.5. I mean,
the only reason
fast.
I say 9 is because I haven't thrown it in humidity as much as I normally would have.
Yeah, it's fast.
But,
yeah.
I could imagine this still moves through humidity. But it does make this bag forgiving for being it's a thick bag. I mean, you can see that thing's thick.
So people like us to make comparisons to like, well, if I like throwing this, what would you compare this to? If you're like, let's say you throw a lot of BG bags, right? The crossover, the crossover from Bagdaddy, it's a different carpet, but I would equate that speed wise closer to like a Viking.
Yeah.
If you were more of like a mercenary fan, this bag is going to be more
That's
for
what
you.
this is, yeah.
All right, a very fast side with that controllable carpet. The slick side, right away when you get it, it's pretty broken in right away.
Yeah.
It does not take very much to break this bag down at all.
I will say though, with this bag, I think the carpet on this one does allow you to do a little bit more than what the crossover does. Whereas the crossover, I feel like once it breaks down, it's more of just a hole finder.
Yes.
As a
now
carpet
you're saying as it breaks down, right? Like as the longer you have the bag.
Yeah, you can cut that thing like an MF for the first time you get it.
Yep.
And once it finally starts breaking down on you, you'll notice that cut doesn't nearly do what you thought
it just
it
does.
would.
It almost the carpet almost like smooths out.
And like nothing. It doesn't change the speed. Nothing
No.
against the carpet. You just kind of need to change the way you throw a little bit.
You have to angle the bag that much more to get it to cut.
Just to get it to cut.
Yeah.
Whereas we all know this BG style carpet, man, it always cuts. It never stops cutting. So that's the one difference I think plays into the favor of this one. Whereas I liked the fast side of the crossover much more. But
I would say this is like
makes it hole forgiving though.
A medium. It's not super loose. It's not overly stuffed. I'd say that's like a medium.
Yeah, it reminds me
It's
more
small
of
fill.
it reminds me more of a Tango than it does anything from BG. Just because that fast side turns it into a carpet bag that's going to melt.
Not quite as thick as a Tango though.
Not quite as thick.
But again, it's somewhere in between those two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so design score.
Design score. I mean, I always love Bagdaddy designs. I like the big old T in the back of it. It's kind of cool. So let me go. We'll go 75.
Okay.
On design score.
I don't know why. It's simple. I like the logo that he came up with it. It's clean. I like the font that he picks, and I know like all that stuff like is weird, but like to me it's eye catching. I'm gonna go 82.
All right.
I don't know why. I like it's clean.
Own.
Performance factor.
Performance, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go a little ahead of the Game Changer Steady just because it does have that familiar carpet to it.
Okay.
Give me an 84.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit lower on it. I'm gonna go like a 76.
Okay.
Again,
That's still pretty
like
high for you for carpet.
It is, and again, I've been throwing carpet a lot more recently.
You need another beer.
Yes, please. It's just again, it's nothing to do. I mean, most of our bags are kind of like right around there, but it's 76, very solid. Okay, let's.
What's next? Let's go with let's do the Kangas.
I want to do Kanga. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. Let's make Killshot wait. That's fine.
All right, let's do Kangas.
Okay, so
We both were fans. So.
this is okay. I don't want to gush, but I love this bag, man. It's very, very, very well made. This carpet is very similar to the bag that we were referring to previously from the crossover. This bag has the same carpet as the crossover, so we know over time, at least with our experience with the crossover, is that it's going to not cut quite as much as the bag ages. But what makes this bag great is the fill that they use.
Yes.
We have thrown this bag, we threw it outside in Erie. When we had the Erie Open, we had boards set up that very first night we got up there, and that's the only time we threw it.
We had a bunch of people throwing it.
So if you're watching this video for a carpet bag, I mean, this thing is just like, I mean, it's floppy as shit. I mean, it's just like ready to play right away.
Granted, that's probably 20 games on it.
Oh, if that. I mean, not even.
Yeah,
I mean, this is, it's very well made. The slick side, when I did the video, right, that we talked about before, I probably made a mistake. I put it at like a 9 out of 10. It's probably more of like an 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's more like an 8.
It maybe like 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, you're also throwing inside.
I was throwing inside. It was a little humid, so I thought it was faster than it really was.
It is. That slick side's a little different than anything that we've been seeing. It's like you want to say it's slide right, but it's not.
It's not. I think it's like Widow.
Reverse?
I think it's
Okay.
like Widow. It's not reverse Widow. I think it's like Widow. So I want to say it's like maybe like an 8.
Yeah, that's
right around
that works
there.
for me. I like that. I like because I don't want to put it at a 9, 10 because.
But again, the more you hear about bags, right? The more you find out that a lot of the materials that they use for these bags, I'm gonna throw 90% of the bags out there. They're all using like a combination of like 4 or 5 fabrics, right? Yeah. It is the fill, it is the template. Those two things put together really make a bag.
Yeah, trust us when we say like, oh, this has the same materials as X bag. It's going to play different. They all do.
It really
does.
Do. This bag cuts. If I can get it to roll and wheel and all that stuff, I'm sure the best players in the world would love this. It's very, very hole forgiving. There's one shot in the video that I loved where the first bag actually hung on the back corner of the hole, and before the second bag even hit the board, it was kind of sliding in. I mean, that to me, that just summed it up. As a carpet bag, that you can find something as melty, it reminded me of like an OG really broken in Pro Advantage kind of thing.
No, I can see that.
And I know it's not the same carpet, but that's the kind of feel that I got for it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the slick side is a little bit faster than what a Pro Advantage would be, but just the feel in my hand, it felt like kind of like an OG Pro Advantage. I threw it really, really well. If I were going into a tournament tomorrow and the boards were playing fast, this is probably the bag I would throw. I mean, I really, really like it. And again, I love the feel. I like the feel in my hand. And I know I'm gushing a little bit, but again, I really like their fill.
I think that's what it is for me. Because, even though I didn't throw the friction all that well, I felt the potential in that bag. It felt really nice, and this one is no different.
And this is
got a great template,
this is a slightly
fill.
Compared. So I think somebody actually posted a question on Facebook asking about the Kanga, and they wanted to know fill wise, where was it between like the Mantis and the Friction? It is definitely fuller than those bags.
Yes.
It is definitely fuller, just slightly. I'm not talking like super full chubby bag, but it is a little bit fuller than, especially the Friction.
I wish we had the Friction here for comparison.
I know, I should have brought it in.
Whereas you can see, because the Friction, like you hold it like on the side of your hand, that thing is gonna just pinch both sides.
And if you see
this one, it just doesn't do that. So it's got a little bit more fill to it, but you can see it's not like puffing out of the seams or anything.
No, not at all. All right, so we have we got this set of bags from an individual I'm not going to name, but this was like one of the first runs.
It's from Kyle.
We'll call him Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle got us those bags.
Kyle. This is like the first run, so this is not all the new Kangas that came out. They have like this mean looking kangaroo on it. We have like one of I want to say this is like one of the OG Kangas that are out there. So we have the big cornhole scenario logo on it. It says Kanga-X inside it. Has the American flag on it. We got the sweet teal color.
We'll hold it up for you folks watching on YouTube.
Design factor, it's very clean. I'm going to give it an 80. It's nothing flashy, but I like it a lot. I do like their logo.
You and I both appreciate a clean looking bag.
Correct.
And I'm going to go right there at an 80 as well, because I love the teal.
Performance factor for me as a carpet bag, taking that into consideration, I'm going to give it an 88.
Okay. I'm gonna stay true to where I'm going with kind of that style of carpet bag, and I'm going to go right with you. As shitty as it is. I'm going to go 88.
I'm telling you, I mean,
I liked it a little more than the triple threat. I know I gave that one, a little bit higher. So, I'll go 88 on Cornhole Scenario.
Okay, last one we have up is the Killshot M.O.B. All right, Killshot.
Hells yeah.
Okay, so...
Carpet bag from Killshot.
So, it's a carpet bag from Killshot. I think this was their first carpet bag they came out with.
Yeah, they came out with this and then the Cannon next, I think.
Yeah, so I haven't got my hands on all of them. They released a Semtex, which sounds like I would like that bag. It's like player's material ish kind of bag.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I'm done. Like I'm not. I'm like whatever. I'm not gonna get on a tangent here. But I did get my hands on the M.O.B. It is. I wanted to save this one for last because it is the same carpet. It's basically two of these bags. If you mix them together, you're gonna make the M.O.B. So you have the same carpet as the Kanga, and then you have the same slick side as the slick side of the Game Changer Steady 2.0. So you have slide rate on top, and you have like this carpet material that's like the same thing on like the crossover.
Yeah, it's Bagdaddy crossover carpet. We see it coming out everywhere.
Yeah,
same stuff.
I'm just double checking again. I've checked like 20 times.
And honestly, even if it's like the inverse version of that, it kind of plays very similar. So I don't think there's any difference.
It is. I don't know how to say this. I'm not a huge fan of the new fill that Killshots has used. And I think I've said that before.
Yeah.
It's not quite as crunchy as it was, but this is a pretty thick bag. Okay.
It's a big old carpet bag. It really is.
Can we do a comparison here on video? So if I'm doing a comparison of these,
Sean just running our setup here. Everything.
I mean, you can see.
Yeah, so Killshots are sitting probably a whole half inch above what the cornhole scenarios are.
Yeah, I mean it's a thicker bag. All right,
and template wise, they look fairly similar. Maybe not quite as rounded on the Killshot.
Yep, yeah, it's definitely. You could tell that they were going for. They wanted a bag that could. Now with this type of fill, you could tell that they wanted a bag that you could still bounce and roll because there's not quite as much of like that that crunchy feeling.
Yeah.
And a lot of times with non-universal fill, that's going to be more of a slide bag. So if you're a Killshots fan and you're thinking 357, pick up a Gen 2 357 and feel the fill, and you'll feel that it's not all universal. Typically, if you want a bag to bounce and to flop a lot, you want a universal fill. Typically, you want smaller fill. Typically, is
and we can nerd out for a second because that equates to an even transfer of energy.
Correct.
That's what gets the bag to jump when you have the same fill.
So again, I threw this bag fine. It tended to be a little bit of a hole clogger. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Steady 2.0 or the Steady 1.0.
A little bit, yeah. I mean,
it's a little bit fat. If you like playing that dirty style of game, right? You want to throw a blocker and you want to push and cut and all that stuff. Like this is going to be right up your alley. Mm-hmm. It just tended to clog the hole a little bit more than I would have liked. But you can cut this bag both ways. You can flop it. You can roll it. It feels fine. Again, it's just...
We're also throwing this, like, again... There's not many hours.
The one thing I've always liked about Killshots when we first started getting into them is that their materials were different.
Yeah,
they're
kind of falling into
they had players material,
stuff.
which I still love players material. And then you put you had like the AR where you put that super slick side with the players material. You had the RPG, which still has not been replicated. You had all this stuff with unique type materials. This just seemed safe. Does that make sense?
You know, they were also looking for a carpet.
50% of the
carpet. So I
bet it's even more than that. 75% of the bags out there use this same slick side material. It is 7 out of 10, and the slow side I'm going to call like a 4. Yeah. I mean, it's just like all the other bags out there. They didn't do anything to like necessarily set themselves apart. And I'm not trying to knock anybody. I mean, it's a very solid bag.
A good bag.
If you're a Killshots fan and you like carpet, you're going to like this bag.
And Killshots they do a good job of consistency across.
It was just a little bit too thick for my liking. It just wasn't quite as hole friendly. If I'm going to throw carpet, I want something that's a little bit more hole friendly than what this was. That's all. Gotcha. That's all I'm saying. Design score. I mean, I didn't get any of the fancy ones. I got their standard. I've always been a fan of like their standard. I like their logo.
They were one of the first ones that came out with like a cool standard bag.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I mean I've always been a fan of like the Killshots, just standard logo with the drip blood splatter type stuff. I'm gonna go 76.
Okay, I was gonna go 75. So we're right there with each other.
Performance score. I would never. This is not gonna be a bag that I would ever go and be like, ooh yeah, let's throw the M.O.B today.
Yeah, I mean. I'm actually, for a carpet bag, I'm going below 80. But that's just because I feel like we're not throwing a broken inset.
And I've thrown this quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've had this set for 6 to 8 weeks, I want to say. Like, I've had this set for a while.
Yeah.
I've thrown it a bunch. If I'm going to be honest with it, I mean, I'm going to give it like a 66. Like I'm just not. I just wasn't a huge fan.
Okay,
of it.
I was gonna go a little higher than that. I'm gonna go 77
Okay.
on it because I mean it is still a carpet bag, and I do love that 3. I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and wait for that bag to break in. I feel like it actually does have good potential. I watch guys throw it that hit crazy shots, but
Well, listen, Kyle Malone and Dalton
Yeah.
Cole, I'm sure it works great for them. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure it does. It's just not. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse, and that's all we can do.
That's fine.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to some listener questions.
Heck
okay,
yeah.
so we're gonna bust this up here. Let me pull up
Yeah,
this.
why don't you just ask the questions?
Okay. All right, let me go to. Let's start with the newest first. All right, I'm gonna start with the first one. Just made me laugh when I read it. Chandler Jones wants to know, Dane, is cereal a soup?
Considering all the things that I say about a hot dog being a sandwich, it's not. It's not. It's not a soup. I don't even consider gazpacho a soup. If you want to throw that, because it's cold. What about gazpacho? It's not a soup either. It's just a drink.
Okay.
Serve with a spoon.
Rich Norman wants to know, listeners want to know when you're going to do a remote recording session in Honolulu with Hawaii Cornhole and Airwolf Athletics. If we start a GoFundMe, and y'all want to
fans,
listen,
Hey, guys,
we would do it for you.
We will be
We would
there,
do it
right?
for you guys. Okay, we would do it for you. I just thought this was funny, so I'm just gonna read it. Drew Brown wants to know who's the most hated player in the ACL and why is it Jimmy Humans?
I definitely wouldn't go Jimmy Humans. I mean, even though he's a guy that we love, I mean, I think the most hated would be Cody Henderson, just because I always hear him cast in a bad light for the way that he takes the game on the main stage. But to me, we know that that's part of his mental fortitude. And I feel like people love he's an easy bad guy.
I don't know. It's a hard question to answer. Are you asking who you don't want to play against, you hate playing against?
Yeah, because
or is
that
it
would be
you don't
bad
like
guy,
personal? Because I
hands
don't
down.
know who's not popular and stuff around
Yeah.
there. So
To me, I just always hear little inklings of everyone. Oh God, Cody Henderson, he just kind of comes off as yeah, he comes off that way, but it's calculated that way.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
people just need to realize that it's not just it's all just kind of a ploy.
all right. So Alan Chris Reyes wants to know, what are the best unknown or sleeper bags that no one really throws, current or throwbacks?
This one's easy for me.
Go for it.
Cooper SOB3.
Yeah.
Cooper bags SOB3.
Yep.
People were giving us tons of crap during our Battle of the Bags bracket, and they're like, who the hell is Cooper Bags? Because I made this deep run. Well, I'll tell you what, up in Minnesota, they have a crazy following, and with good reason. That bag is money, dude.
Yeah.
It's a good bag.
One of the bags, unknown, TC boards.
Yes.
TC boards Revolution. We reviewed it. Right, I think was it the first week that we did design and performance for?
I think so, yeah.
I was a huge fan of the bag. If you were like a Widow Viper fan, it's somewhere right in that wheelhouse. Super hole forgiving.
He was the first one to really find something that's close to players material, right? That was the one that was
pretty
I
damn
think
close.
it was players
It's
material.
pretty
Close to
close.
it.
It's pretty close. That's a bag that comes to mind. I'm trying to think what else sleeper bags that we've had that we've really liked.
To me, sleeper bag, anything suede. People don't throw suede anymore, and I'm sorry, but it's a lost art form, and more specifically, the hole shot from Octane.
Yeah.
I still think that's one of the best suede bags I've ever thrown. I still love throwing it to this day.
Actually, you want to know a little known bag that I love? Right here. Blackjack Cornhole.
Yes, that's another great one.
The high stakes spade series.
Yeah.
It's reverse suede with Excel material, buttery. It's controllable. If you haven't tried throwing it yet, go to blackjackcornhole.com, and guess what? You can even save yourself 10% if you use code BIGASP. I'm just saying.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. We're not even there yet, but
Not
it's
even
okay. Okay, and then the same guy, all right, Alan Chris Reyes wants to know, and I love this question. Okay, only professional athletes, either from Cleveland or on a Cleveland sports team, okay? Put together your dream team crew cup, and then maybe some characteristics from that athlete and why it would give you the best rounded team.
Okay. All right, so...
Do you want me to go first?
I mean, we're gonna include ourselves on our.
No.
Oh, all right.
So let's say you're the coach.
Okay.
All right, you're managing. Let's do it that way. You got to pick 4 guys.
All right. So I need 4 guys from Cleveland lore to come in.
They can either be from here or they played for a Cleveland sports team.
Okay. I'm gonna start off with give me an oldie but goodie, and every Clevelander knows him and loves him. Give me Bernie Kosar to start us off.
Okay. Why?
Just because 1, the fans will show up for him.
Okay.
And 2, I think he's to lead off Crew Cup. He's not all there anymore. Like
at least
CTE.
we know he would have partied at one.
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Like he loves some beers and stuff, but I mean he's a guy that could just step up and shut it all out, hit the first shot.
I agree.
Second up, give me Jason Kipnis.
You've always obviously your dog's name's Kipnis.
Well, my dog's name is it's named after him because Kipnis hit a home run during batting practice out at spring training, and all I said to him was, if this next one goes yard, I'm naming my dog after you. My dog's name is Kipnis.
That's kind of cool. I mean, that's
yes,
pretty sweet.
I mean, but also he was a very underrated second baseman for the Tribe for many years. Number 3, give me someone who has some arm talent, an oldie but a goodie. I want Oral Hershiser.
That's a great one.
Right?
Damn it. Okay. All right,
Yeah, I'm going to take Oral Hershiser because he's
the
The Bulldog was a very consistent pitcher.
And he was one of our dad's favorite pitchers.
Yes, and I mean mine too. I loved watching him pitch growing up, and the guy can just sling, so I figured he'd take the same approach to
That's
cornhole.
a good one.
And then last but not least, just out of sheer intimidation of anyone else standing next to the man, give me Myles Garrett, because that man is an Adonis amongst anyone else standing next to him, and just sheer intimidation factor on physicality alone. Give me Myles Garrett.
I actually made 2 lists. I made
God,
one
nerd.
just of Cleveland, former players, and one of people just from Cleveland, that used to play.
See, I wasn't even going Cleveland cornhole. I thought it was all Cleveland athletes.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Or it could be for people from. So I made 2 different lists. So the first one I'll go over is former Cleveland athletes.
Okay.
All right. The first one is Mark Price. The dude, a sharpshooter.
Yeah, he was.
He was Steph Curry before Steph Curry. Just amazing free throw shooter. I feel like accuracy's got to be a thing. Mark Price
cornhole is definitely in Mark Price's future if he ever turns to it.
The next one, he was one of my favorite Indians pitchers when he was here because he's a little quirky. I feel like would be fun. He reminds me a little like Trevor Brooks. He's a little off. Trevor Bauer. I feel like he is television gold on the cornhole courts because he's just going to be loud and obnoxious.
I mean, to me, he'd be the Josh Gross of of the baseball world. So
kind of, yeah. The next one is Joe Thomas. He's a fucking legend.
Yes,
I just feel like he's outdoor fisher. You can't tell me he hasn't thrown a bag or two.
I went with Bernie over Joe just because. You got to get the elders involved too.
You don't have to. And then the last but not least, just because I would want to, I feel like in his college days, he partied, he threw some bags. Baker Mayfield.
I knew you were gonna go Baker.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Are you serious? All right. Now my next list is Cleveland athletes that are actually from Cleveland but don't necessarily play for a Cleveland team. The first one, Travis Kelce. Again. I want some guy that after we're done winning the Crew Cup event, we're just going to go crush some beers. And you can't tell me that Travis Kelce can't just crush some fucking shit. LeBron James, 6'8", wingspan of a god, can basically just reach over and dunk. Thank you very much. He's just a natural athlete. He's going to figure it out very quickly.
He could just long jump and be able to finger roll into the hole every time.
Another lanky motherfucker, but I feel like he's just a good athlete overall, Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah, I agree.
Larry Nance Jr. And then the last one is current Browns cornerback, another good athlete overall. I feel like you're from Ohio. He's probably slung a bag or 2. Denzel Ward.
I'm surprised you didn't go with AJ McCollum from the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, he's a Cleveland boy and playing basketball, bro. I mean, translates well.
This next one is by Sean Soria. I like this question. So we recently have moved up to the advanced division. So he wants to know, what's the best strategy against an advanced player? He said, when I miss with a block, they take advantage. Do I try to go bag for bag or do I continue to try to block?
So for me, it's always step up and I want to put 4 bags in the hole to start for the first couple rounds. see how it goes, and then after that, if I need to change my strategy and I feel like I need to start maybe blocking and stuff, then I'll start throwing it in. But hands down, once you reach the advanced division, just start putting bags in the hole and see what happens.
I think that one of those things, like Trey Birchfield put it perfect, he never goes into a match thinking, I'm going to block.
Yeah.
He is constantly thinking, I'm just going to put this bag in the hole. If it happens to go short, it was a bag that I just didn't throw hard enough.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how you have to think about it. All you should be thinking about, don't worry about what your opponent does. Your next bag, put it in the hole.
Yeah.
If you miss a bag right, miss a bag left, doesn't matter. Next bag up. Your next bag. That's one thing that McCracken says that he says to himself over and over when he plays that I actually love. So, Pat, if you listen to this, I don't know if you listen to the show.
Probably not.
But I do respect this a lot. I like this, what you say to yourself. The next bag matters.
Yes, it does.
That's such a
Every time.
That's a great mantra.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people could actually use that to help themselves.
It's the same stuff why we always say, like, minimize the damage. Just minimize it.
Dalton James Lee. He wants to know, do you think the sport of cornhole will ever make it big enough in the U.S. to get itself considered as a high school sport? What do you think it would take? And if so, where in the U.S. do you think it will start?
So I think, hands down, it's going to start probably with Pat McCracken again. We're giving him a shout out. He's doing great things out there at the lower level of just getting it involved in middle schools. But I mean, you can't shy away from the amount of people that love cornhole in our region.
I don't know if it's ever going to be like a sanctioned sport, but as a club sport that
to me, it's going to reach the collegiate level first before the high school level.
Probably, yeah, I agree.
And then I think it'll trickle down.
But then again,
eventually.
listen, if fucking bowling, and again, I know a lot of cornhole players play bowling, whatever. If bowling is a high school sport that's sanctioned by the states,
yeah, then why
cornhole
can't
can definitely do it.
I mean, it's far cheaper.
Yes, correct.
Which every high school loves to hear. Correct. That's why we were rugby players.
And the shoes are way fucking better.
Yeah,
way better.
You want to hear a sport cheaper to play every time than cornhole? It's rugby.
Our friend, speaking of Mr. Bagdaddy himself, okay? Jordan Stevenson wants to know, just for fun, would we be up for adding a 5-point shot to the game? Air mail only from behind the board.
Dude, why not? I don't know about 5. Let's make it a 4-point shot.
4-point shot?
Yeah.
Does it have to be like, it doesn't matter. You could just, you only get to do it once?
No. I think you let it rip from back there.
So if you're Matt Bourne and you just catch fire, you're just going to fuck everybody up.
Yeah, just start ripping it. No, I think maybe it should be like a call-out shot. Just be like, in a moment.
At any time, I challenge you have to take your shot.
I'm gonna take my one shot, and each team only gets one of them each game or something. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of exciting.
Okay. Scotty Moe, he wants to know, give us one reason why we like Donald McPhee.
Don McPhee.
I'm trying
did we ever say that we like Donnie?
Hold on.
I mean, because he's always next to Brendan when we talk to him.
He has a mohawk.
That's not. I wouldn't consider that a reason why I like an individual. I don't know. He works for Apple.
The fruit store.
The fruit store.
He works for the fruit store.
Yeah. So,
apples and bunches. Yeah, he works for a fruit store.
Yeah. So at least we'll get a vitamin.
Listen, Donnie's a great dude.
Yeah. Love Donnie. Come on now.
Love us some Donnie. Okay, let's see. Okay, Levi Wise wants to know, when will Sean get on Dane's level? Levi, you can come out here. Why don't you come out here? All right, really, why don't you? Well, let's play a match.
Yeah, honestly,
let's play a match.
I feel like there's been this big misconstruence on this show that I am better than Sean. When we first started out, Sean was 10 times better than I ever was. I was just able to play consistently.
Actually, there's a question.
Got up to him, his level.
There is a question up here somewhere.
And honestly, nowadays, we go 50-50 every time we play in the backyard. I mean, it's...
So Nicole Pratt actually said, if you two were to play one-on-one right now, who would win?
It's a toss-up, man.
Last time we played 4 games. It was 2-2.
Yeah, it's 50-50. And honestly,
actually, you know who would win is whoever was losing the match to start.
Yes.
The first person to score, it typically goes up 10-0, they end up losing.
That's usually how we rip it off.
Just how it goes. So, yeah, we tend to be very 50-50, especially playing in the backyard, stuff like that. Let's see here. Okay, Timmy Jonas came out with perhaps the next hot dog question.
Okay.
Is a Pop-Tart a ravioli.
It's not.
It's not. Only because I get what he's saying. I thought it was very clever.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not. Only because ravioli is
a pastry.
Yeah,
ravioli
is
a pasta. So it's a dough. I get that they're both dough based, but yeah, I'm sorry, but one's a pastry, the other one is a pasta, and those are discernible differences.
Okay, let me see. Garrett Henderson wants to know, have you guys used or can you suggest any training tools? Do you feel like slide trainers, airmail boxes really help, or should you just keep practicing on the boards in more real-life scenarios? Listen, I'm not a pro, okay, at all. Mm-hmm. I've always found it most helpful for me to either play one-on-one against somebody when I can, but I also do very well when I can practice on my own. I like to start off with just throwing bags, right? Just seeing how many bags I can put in the hole, and then when I start feeling like I have my rhythm, my line is good, then I set up different scenarios. Yeah. Like I'll actually play like ghost defense cornhole. Mm-hmm. I'll put a blocker down just because that tends to be the one area where I used to struggle with the most. Be like, oh fuck, somebody put a blocker down. What the hell do I do?
Yeah, if people miss the board left or right for Sean, he's pulling it every time. But if you are able to put the hole, that's when you can see him thinking a little bit.
So I just really worked on don't even think about it, just push back, just go through the bag. Yeah. And that's been my biggest thing because I used to be, when I was really feeling it and we were in league and we were playing really well, I would just airmail over top. Yeah. And when we were playing Pro Advantage, and yeah, I'd make it 50-50, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I was willing to live with that when you're playing D3 and you know that your partner is not going to be scoring every single time, or they're going to miss a blocker eventually and you can make those points up later. You can do that. But now that we're playing the higher level, I've realized that if I could just push that bag through and then challenge them to make that shot again,
then
if they miss it right or left, then I feel comfortable that I'm going to make my next shot.
I like that. I mean, for me, it's I tend to just go out and I always throw 12 bags. I always have 12 bags, and I throw them from the same side of the board. I know it sounds excessive, but I like to kind of throw 3 similar sets of bags there and see what happens. But I also saw the new cornhole trainers come out that shrinks the size of the hole. I think that's brilliant. Mm-hmm. I've been waiting for something to come out that was seamless like that. And
Cornhole Solutions.
I think it was Cornhole Solutions that came out with it. I think that's a great tool.
Yep.
But like Sean said, there's no better tool than being able to face off against someone one-on-one. No matter what their skill level, it still throws weird scenarios at the board that you don't always see. So yeah, I think it's smart.
When we were throwing our best, it was when me and you were throwing against each other several times a week.
Yeah, I agree.
Friend of the show, former guest of the show, Russell Post, Mr. Notorious Bags himself, he wants to know who would win in a top 10 ACL versus ACO pro shootout. I would put it like this. If you were going top 10, ACL wins. Only because I think the entire depth of the ACL, maybe the last 5, are going to be that much stronger than maybe the bottom 5.
I agree.
10, does that make sense?
Who's your top 5 right now for the ACO?
For the ACO?
Yeah.
You have Tanner Halpert. You have.
And you gonna put the Gores up there?
I don't see. I guess do you consider them AC? I guess you do.
I would.
They didn't qualify though because I don't think that they're playing enough events.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about just ACO talent, all right. So, let's think about this. So I have Tanner Halpert, obviously.
Yeah.
He just won the big event, $20,000, all this stuff. You have Jeremiah Ellis. I think it's in the top. Would be in my top 5.
Put him in top 5.
Caleb Hurt, obviously, I think is arguably one of the best players. I mean, at any given day and anywhere he's at.
I would maybe throw in Austin Cameron.
Austin Cameron, man, has been coming on strong.
Yeah.
I know he had a really solid last event. He fell a little bit short in that big event that they were having, but he's another stud, another young dude. Mm-hmm. He's only 15 years old.
Yeah.
Kid's another stud. The other one, I guess I would put it Easy, just because he's been there, done that.
Yeah.
Eric Zockline.
Yeah,
that would probably be my top 5. And there's others, but that would be my top 5. Now, if you ask me to name top 5 ACL. I'm having a hard time picking just to limit it to 5.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, I think that just the depth of the ACL talent is just going to kind of show off.
For top 10, I agree with you. But if you're going to go a championship battle between the best of the ACO versus the best of the ACL, it's a hell of a match.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Brian Zern wants to know, what do we consider to be the top non-stamped bags? For me, that's pretty easy. 724 Bagger Company.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean, just especially with the whole arsenal of what they have out there right now. We haven't reviewed the Havoc or the WMD. It's just every bag he comes out with just keeps getting better, it seems like. I mean, WMD might be the first time I threw it was when one of those matches we played against.
Yeah, you threw it very well.
Threw it phenomenal. It basically is an OG Viper without the dots.
The other one that comes to mind, I would probably throw out Big Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
His aren't ACL stamped, but man,
that's true.
I
feel bad for just skipping over, but yeah, Big Daddy.
That Carnage we know has been tearing up the ACO this year, and came out with a Rival, which is a great carpet bag, man. I mean, he's got some good bags.
Jimmy Humans wants to know why is there no guest. I dropped the ball completely. I waited too long. Reached out to somebody, they didn't get back to me in time.
Jimmy comes up with some weird number thrown at us just to come onto our show.
Yeah, it's weird.
Let's so expensive,
see.
Jimmy. He could have been a second-time guest within a month.
I like this one. Tyler Hooper. I throw a loftier bag, but my partner throws low and hard. We both prefer to throw the stick side. My bags are usually too fast for him, and his bags are too slow for me. What's the best way to find a middle ground when partners have completely different play styles? Should I try to throw the fast side instead of the slow side? This is basically me and you to a T.
Exactly. Yep.
When we first started throwing Pro Advantage, I would throw Pro Advantage, and then towards the end of the night, my bag would start kicking. I'd get a little lazy. I wouldn't throw it very flat, and my bag would start to kick. You would just yell down to me, "Fucking flip the bag," and I would just start throwing slick side the rest of the day, and that was fine. It tended to work out very well for us. Mm-hmm. I think that's a better compromise than until you guys can find a bag where you both really feel comfortable with the speed. I think that's going to be probably the best way to go about it.
To me, like, there's no problem with going like the control bag route. It doesn't need to be carpet for you to throw it as a low hard thrower.
No.
Surefires and all like the friction from cornhole scenario, all that kind of stuff, like it's right in that wheelhouse of being like a 5-speed. If you're a low thrower, you should be able to manage that. And to me, those like control bags tend to be a little more forgiving for the slick bag thrower. So I think that might be a good middle ground to find.
Yep.
Maybe just find the bag that's not carpet, but it still works for both of you.
I agree. George Perez wants to know, what bags are you throwing, or what bags are in your rotation right now and why?
Okay. So right now I have the Tangos from WTF.
Okay.
I have actually Big Daddy Rival. I throw those quite often.
Okay.
Even though they're not ACL stamped. I love me the Carnage as well.
Yeah.
Which is an ACL stamped. But then after that, I still love my Patriots from Reynolds. It just feels so good in my hand. I don't know. I can't explain why. Like, it's that Reynolds feel. And then I typically have Vikings in there as well. And dude, even I got to shout out local. The more I throw that regulator, the more I freaking like it.
It's a funky feeling in your hand, but again, we both like the speed of it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those bags you just have to throw a lot.
The more you throw it, it's getting better and better. So that's always in my bag too. So yeah, I would say those are what's in my bags board backpack.
My bags board backpack right now is cornhole scenario friction. Mm-hmm. That's been my go-to. I do throw the Tango quite a bit. I like that. I'm never gonna have a bag without my blackjack cornhole. Pro Advantage,
yeah.
My old dirty white ones. I love them. What else do I have in there right now? I had the cornhole scenario Kanga-X in there, but I think that was just out of lack of space. I know it's a newer bag, but I really like the new bag out of 724, the WMD.
Dude, yeah.
I really threw that well.
Really nice,
I would throw that like on slower boards.
That bag's like OG Viper, which I know that you're a huge fan of that.
The biggest mistake I ever made was getting rid of my Series Viper.
Dude, I could not believe when you text me that. I couldn't believe it. For
I still have
collector, I could not believe that.
I still have nightmares to this day. For the fact that I traded him. I don't know what I was thinking. You know what it was? We went through our carpet bag. We were gonna go, fuck this. We're gonna revolutionize the sport. We're gonna go suede. We're gonna go fucking suede. And I traded the bag away, and
we
just fucking terrible.
We were gonna go like reverse suede, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. If you had to, Sean Welch, he wants to know, if you had to throw one set of bags for the rest of your cornhole career, regardless of work conditions, what would they be and why?
I gotta go Pro Advantage.
Right now?
Yeah.
That's the bag you'd pick
Yeah,
right
it'd
now.
be Pro Advantage just because it's... Or Patriot. To me, they're synonymous.
Pick one. You get one bag.
Alright, fine. I'll go Patriot. It gets shit on all the time, but... Dude, I can throw that bag no matter what, whenever. It doesn't break down like a Pro Advantage does, so it kind of keeps its rigidity, which I'm a huge fan of. I know a lot of people like it to break down and maybe not clog the hole as often, but man, for some reason I gotta go Patriot, man. Reynolds just tried and true.
If you're asking me right now, this second, I have to go Friction. Still, it's my favorite bag.
Dude, I can see that. I mean, it's a better Surefire.
It's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just throw it very well. Let's see, Cody Lee. He wants to know: do you think the pro qualifier should be at all the opens instead of at the end of the season? No, I don't.
No, I don't. But however, there was a question later on in there that was bringing up like, do you guys think like there's a better way to do the pro qualifier? And I think there is. I think if you
Here, can I go on something real quick?
Go ahead, yeah.
So I did like a little live video. I was taking Bailey out for a walk last week, and then it was right when everyone was complaining about like the spots selling out. Mm-hmm. All year they've been telling you, buy the platinum membership, you get into the events early. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. These events sell out. Look at the Cleveland fucking National when it got canceled.
Yeah.
It sold out in like 90 seconds, it felt like. If you had in your heart of hearts that you were going to go and your whole goal, you were working so fucking hard to be an ACL pro next year,
you can pay that $100.
you pay the fucking $100. Or guess what? You find a sponsor, one of those sponsors that are on your jersey, that you're paid sponsor, right? Like that everyone, like you're an Ultra player or BG or whatever the fuck you decide to throw that week. You ask them to upgrade for $100. Use that money to upgrade yourself so that you can go. I'm so.
It was posted everywhere saying
I get
like,
that
this
if you
gives you early entry.
I get that people were mad that like advanced singles and doubles sold out. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes people are just fast and they get in, whatever. Mm-hmm. But if the pro qualifier was open for longer than what people are letting on.
Yeah.
So you should have just fucking bucked it up.
Yeah. You
borrow fucking money from somebody.
I'm sorry, it's gonna be $225.
Or guess what? Guess what? You didn't want it bad enough.
Yeah.
Look at me right here. You didn't want it bad enough. You just didn't. You didn't want it. Maybe you're scared, and that's okay. That's okay.
I mean, I'll be interested to see if some of these names that didn't get in magically find their
way. But
like,
what do people want? Like, you can't have an event where there's 10,000 people in this pro qualifier. Yeah. It's going to take 12 days.
But, like, I mean,
there has to be a cutoff at some point. So guess what? You're never going to make. Listen, I'm sure there's going to be exceptions.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. There's going to be cancellations. There's going to be exceptions. There's going to be exceptions. Yeah. There's going to be exceptions.
I was going to say, like, I saw Trevor Brooks didn't get in. I'll put money down that he's there.
Michael Walko. A lot of cornhole players seek better...
Hang on, we never even answered that question, though.
Yes, I did. Do you think it should be at the end of the Opens instead of at the end of the season? I said no.
Oh, I was thinking of the other question.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
All
right. Michael Walko. A lot of cornhole players seek better consistency. In addition to just throwing to improve muscle memory... Have you found any specific tips or techniques that have improved your consistency? Really, for me, it was when I played singles at the Open. Again, that's really all I have to go off right now just because I haven't played that many events.
Yeah.
I kept telling myself every time that like I was stepping up, make them earn it. Mm-hmm. Like that was my mantra. Like, don't make it easy on them. Like, just if you're gonna miss, like go for the hole. Don't just give it to them. Don't lay down and die. Make them earn it. Make them put bags in the hole to beat you. And to me, that's what helped.
Don't be. Just train yourself to never be an easy out, because at the end of the day, if you're down 18-0, we've come back from that.
Yeah.
Like, you can come back from anything. So just never hang your head, even if you start out slow, because we are notorious for it. You gotta be ready for a battle, and if you're able to bring it together at some point in the match, you always have a chance to win.
And I get his question again. I think it would, for me, it would instead if we're not talking like the physical side of practice, it's come up with some sort of mantra like we mentioned before, Patrick McCracken.
Yeah.
The next bag matters. Come up with something that's going to trigger you just to calm yourself down. And to me, like when I kept saying, make them earn it. And every once in a while, I would say it out loud, like so that they heard me. I'm like, I'm not even like if I would throw a bad bag, I'm like, no, at least make them earn it. Like, don't just give it to them.
See, and I'm a little opposite of you because when I throw a bag off, especially if it's like early, like I just tell myself like, forget about that one. You didn't even need it.
Well, I think that's what helps me reset though.
Yeah.
When I say make it earn it, I'm not like dwelling on the bag, but it's just reminding me like, hey, the next bag in your hand, this one you need to do better with this one.
I always just think of if I miss my first bag, I'm only giving up one. Because guess what? Whoever I'm standing next to, they're not going to 4-bag me.
Our friend of the show.
I always just try to take that mantra.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine.
Our friend of the show, Garrett Kane, wants to know the most underrated shot in cornhole and the most overrated and the most underrated aspect of the game. I would say, I guess, the most underrated aspect of the game would probably be the mental aspect. It's probably
footwear, hands down.
Okay.
It depends on what shoes you're wearing. I mean,
comfortability.
You gotta be comfortable. They gotta look stylish. Hey, dudes.
Well, listen. They say if you're dressed well, you perform well.
I always say if you look good, then you feel good, then you do good.
Done good.
You done good, kid.
All right. What's the most underrated shot in cornhole?
Underrated shot, airmail. I'm sorry, but like people, ever since this roll bag has come out, everyone is all about hitting that shot. But to me, airmails win championships. I'm sorry, the most underrated shot in cornhole still is a good blocker. But I don't see it as often. So I'm not going to throw it out there. Not enough people throw it anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but that's why it makes it underrated.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like we see it so often here in
if
Cleveland
you played
as
somebody,
opposed to other regions.
If you played somebody that can throw consistently a really good block, they're hard to beat. Like, you really have to work to beat them. You really have to work to beat them, right?
I agree. But to me, the airmail is taking such a backseat. It's just as detrimental as hitting a roll shot.
I get... let's see. Jason LeBrun wants to know, if you were both ACL pro doubles partners, and one of you felt like the other was holding them back from making a televised debut, would you have the balls to drop the weaker player as a partner and still be able to keep the podcast running? And to piggyback from that, do you know of any doubles partners who split ways in order to find a partner that would be more fitting for them and they still remain friends? The second part of that question, we do know them. We're not going to say names.
Yeah, but we see it happen every season.
Yeah, correct.
So I mean, it's like
now,
that's,
but
that's
we
part
can
of the game,
we can
guys,
say
like,
without a doubt though we know partners who have split and they still remain friends.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, it's no hard feelings, guys. It's a business decision.
Listen, for us, it's happened already. Like, I told him, like, when he was playing better and I was never playing, and he wanted to go to a regional and try to perform well, I told him, just go. I just won't play. Like, it's fine. Like, it wasn't a big deal for me. And
vice versa. If you would go to a tournament and I'm not playing well, then dude, find yourself a partner. I can find whoever. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. It really
even if we were pros, man. Like
I've said it before.
If you have a chance to win, I mean, we're brothers. So
if you're not a pro,
we're always friends.
If you're not a pro player,
part of the deal. We
need to remember we're ultimately throwing a beanbag at a board.
Yeah. For
probably like 200. Maybe like anywhere from like $20 to $200. It's not that fucking important.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter that much. I don't give a shit. Would it be nice for me to bring home a trophy to show my daughter? Yeah. Because every time I come home from a tournament, she's like, "Did you bring me home a trophy?" I'm like, "No." Well, why? You used to bring me home trophies. Well, that's because when Daddy sucked, like he was good. But now that like I've gotten better, like I'm not good anymore. So it just happens like that.
There's tiers. Then once you reach that top tier, it's much harder.
I actually like this question. Matt Jackson wants to know, and it was just some typos, but I think I know what he's asking. What would you say to someone if they called you out for not having a stamped bag in a tourney next year? So like if we went and we threw a non-stamp, let's say you threw Carnage, and someone says, what would you say? You got me?
I would just say prove it, and then I would run and throw those bags in my bag and tell people they can't look in there unless they have a search and seizure.
I'm just trying to think, like, I mean, I'm sure there are people that would call it, but like, first of all, I've
called people on it actually.
In the
myself,
ACL, like around here in the ACL, like I don't think that there's enough bag knowledge to know whether Unless we're playing a pro. If we're playing a pro, they're probably going to know if it's... And even then, they're not going to want to call us out on it because, then they're going to get mentioned on this podcast that they were too afraid to play with us against those bags.
Exactly.
But again,
we're
listen,
in the free and clear.
if I threw a bag that I knew wasn't ACL approved and they called me out on it, I'm not going to bitch about it. Now, if I beat them and then they complained about it after, then I'm for sure going to call them out on it. Simple as that.
Yeah, and honestly, to me, it's... I don't know, it's kind of... Who cares? That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Bags are bags. We go through all these bag reviews. It's the same, like we said earlier, it's the same 5 materials we're seeing across the board. So,
all right, Nicholas Howell, last question. Nicholas Howell wants to know, if you could play a match against any famous person in history, dead or alive, who would you play and why? I was struggling with this match because this was the first one that was posted.
Are we going doubles?
Play against any famous person.
Okay, so we'll consider this singles, I guess, then.
Yeah.
Give me I want to pick the brain of Robert Plant. Give me Robert Plant.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because I feel like there's so much more there besides musical genius that I would like to tap into, and their music to me translates well to cornhole, as weird as that sounds. I feel like it...
Okay.
I feel like I could learn some things that could help my game. Plus, goddamn legend, bro. Goddamn legend.
I was racking my brain. I don't know.
I mean, I would have gone Jason Kipnis, but I burned that one earlier, so.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many people. I
was thinking,
honestly, if I could do, anybody, just because so I could talk to him, just walking back and forth, and because I think he would suck, and I would probably win, Joe Rogan. I'm just a huge podcast nerd. I'd listen to everything he does, and I just think he's... I was going to throw out...
I was going to throw out, I don't know, maybe a Cleveland legend of some sort out there. I don't know.
No, I think let's go Joe Rogan. I like Joe Rogan. He's the reason I started listening to podcasts. I fell in love with doing all this stuff, so... That's we'll go with that. But listen, thank you very much for everybody that posted questions.
Love you guys. That was awesome.
Freaking amazing. We had way too much fun doing it.
Yeah, I love seeing all these people.
It saved us for content. We'll probably use some of these questions and kind of go bigger and better.
We're gonna keep doing this too. We want the user questions. Much easier. We don't have to think of them then.
Wait, do you hear that? Shameless plug. Cute about porn.
Shameless plugs.
Reach us at Instagram and Twitter at Big Ass Cornhole.
And Facebook at Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors. Visit airwolfathletics.com for all your cornhole swag. Be sure to use code BIGASP and you'll get 10% off. And iHeartCornhole.com for the best boards in the business.
Bagsboard.com for the sexiest backpacks and patches in the game. And BlackjackCornhole.com for the sexiest bags around. Code BIGASP will save you 10%. Apple Podcast reviews, drop those reviews. 5 stars are always appreciated. If you leave us a review, send me a screenshot and we will send you a sticker. Be sure to check out the content at harddragpush.com, your one-stop shop for all your cornhole content. If you go to harddragpush.com and you go to the Big Ass page, you can actually watch our first video, full video, just me and you, podcast.
Yeah. And look at all of our sponsorships and stuff.
Dude, it's kind of official.
Dude, yeah,
first of all,
feel a little legit.
I'm proud of you.
Right?
You did all this stuff. Listen, man, this looks legit.
I told you I was working on something.
I know, man. I'm proud
it wasn't
of you.
content.
Listen,
I was trying to figure out this system.
That's good. Okay, we have a little announcement to make. July 31st, I want you to all mark your calendars. At 3 o'clock p.m., the second annual Sarchione Ford of Waynesburg Cornhole Tournament is happening. It's during the East Sparta Homecoming. The event is being held in East Sparta, Ohio, just outside of Canton, Ohio. It's $50 per team. No two advanced level players are allowed. So no 2 pros, no pro and advanced level players. It's basically like you can be someone good and then someone lower tier.
A pro.
So
that's basically
basically,
you see at every tournament.
Don't be a fucking dick. Just grab a buddy and go to the tournament and have some fun. You can call or message Carl Roush on Facebook. Contact us if you need any help registering for the event, and we can certainly help you point you in the right direction. If all goes to plan, your favorite Ass Brothers are going to be attending the event and will be providing some streaming action. You can register the day of the event. However, it is recommended to register early. So again, reach out to Carl Roush on Facebook, or if you need help, reach out to us. Again, it's only $50 per team. It's really nothing. The payouts are pretty good.
Rain or shine, folks.
Rain or shine. $1,100 in total payments are being paid out through the top 4 spots. There's going to be 50-50 raffle, and there's also going to be items raffled off such as Reynolds bags, Dragon bags, local bags, BG, and more. It's going to be a good event. So it is July 31st. Mark your calendars. If you're in the area, come on out, have some fun, have several beers with us, and we'll probably have like our new Canopy bar by then.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers fucking crossed by then. So, yeah.
And obviously we got the Clash.
The Clash, September 24th and 25th. Cedar
Our boy
Rapids,
Reggie
Iowa.
Rakes.
We're all paid up. I'm ready to go. Me and
All
Brendan.
the fun guys are going.
Did we announce this yet? Me and Brendan Ahern are playing together?
You and Brendan Ahern are playing together.
Boom.
I'm still looking for a partner, possibly.
Dude, we're going there
we're trying to figure it out, but
some shit.
Um,
We're throwing nothing but airmails.
hey, you know what? I gotta
I
gotta get my partner on board. And convince him that maybe we can win this thing. And then
He said he's gonna make you practice a lot.
he can try, but I have a busy work schedule.
All right. Well, hey, thank you very much for joining us. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching this on harddragpush.com under the Big Ass page, we greatly appreciate it. This is our first time doing the video. We hope you enjoy it. If you're listening to the podcast, as always, thank you very much for listening. We greatly appreciate your support. All the people that posted questions today on Facebook, thank you very much. We were touched with how many responses we had and how many people reached out and posted questions.
It sounds weird to people, but
it's cool, man. Like,
we had 50-something comments on that random thing. Like,
dude,
that
that's
means
fucking
the world
great, man.
to us.
Dude, like we
you guys
do
are
put,
listening.
Yeah,
love
man.
it.
Like we put in a lot of time to do this, and it's nice knowing that people listen and they want to interact.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something that every week when we have an interview or something, we're going to ask for your suggestions. So please don't be shy. And again, if you ever see us out at an event, please come out, introduce yourselves. We love meeting new people. We're hoping this summer to get out to more events now that all this like pandemic bullshit seems to be rolling past. We're vaccinated. We're good. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're hoping to maybe possibly make it out to Worlds. We're not going to be playing in it, but we might just venture down and see what kind of trouble we can get into.
Yeah, if we can get down there, maybe hop on the commentating a little bit.
Maybe. You never know. But yeah, so thank you very much for joining us. And as always, we hope you throw it straight. And it's nothing but 4 backers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.